Fuck. Okay, it's not even a horror game and it startled the shit out of me. Okay, adjusting in the chair because it's comfortable. 12:01. I'd been waiting 3 hours for this call, anxiously pacing in my room. I picked up the phone before the third ring, readying myself for Marcus's poetic drawl. Hello to our valued Hollywood Heights customer. But instead, a boisterous, theatrical voice boomed at me through the receiver. Are you paying too much for your car insurance? We're offering a very special deal just for Hollywood Heights Platinum Rewards members. I think you have the wrong number. The wrong number? That's impossible. This is Callie, right? You're a real riot, Marcus. Huh? I see my efforts to put your nerves at ease are unappreciated, sister, and I'm mighty disappointed. Down to our business for tonight, however. The place you're to go to is the July Company Parking, an abandoned garage downtown. That's where the parties of our doomed rendezvous are meeting. I don't know why that didn't register in my brain. You'll need to find Randal and get him to call off negotiations. Do you follow me thus far, sister? Yeah, continue. Now, listen carefully, because here comes the best part. There's a knife that Randal loves very, very much. Why, he loves that blade as much as Lot's daughters love their daddy. If he thinks someone stole it, it'll drive him completely wild and put him in a very unprofessional mood. I heard Marcus inhaling sharply on the other end of the line, like someone preparing to gleefully deliver news. And that knife just so happens to be waiting for you at the hotel's front desk. You take that knife, show it to Randal, and pretend you took it off a Golgotha who wanted to drive a hard bargain with it. That's sure to ruin negotiations. You could easily pass as one of his rabble-rousers, so just masquerade on his side for a little while. I see what you did there. Got it. Ready to go. That's the spirit. Charge into death's jaws and make him no fear. Now, once you've finished up, just come back to the hotel bearing all the good tidings. What if I don't want to? I have faith in you, Callie. Please don't. And again, I also had faith in Jack Kennedy, so maybe don't call yourself the Messiah just yet. That's what I'm saying. It was sink or swim then. I didn't have the first idea of what to expect, and that terrified me. But if I'd survived so far in Hollywood among the living, then I'd find a way to do it among the dead. After picking up the knife from the front desk, I left the hotel and skulked out onto the street. July Company Parking. I vaguely remembered seeing that sign before, at least, so I had some idea of where to go. I'm terrified that the microphone is rubbing up against my face. Hang on a minute. It's because I have it in the wrong ear. This. Okay. Stealing my nerves, I set out in the garage's direction, trying to avoid eye contact with any late-night passers-by. But as I walked, I started to feel that same aching hunger I'd felt last night. It was just a dull pain at first, but it quickly grew stronger, gnawing at me from the inside. I couldn't focus on anything else. Before I entered the parking garage, I'd have to find some blood to sate myself. Or else the pressure would snap me. Damn it. It was probably why the fridge had 3 blood packs, not just 1. Just then, my heightened senses picked up a scent. Down the alley, the scent of a mortal. Alone. There was no one else nearby, which meant I could feed on them if I wanted to. The pain was getting worse. My body ached, my head spun, and the whole world pulsed in front of me. I wasn't giving in, bitch. It was no use. I needed to feed. I needed blood. Warm blood. These were my new instincts. Everything had changed. Denying that would just be a losing battle. I slipped into the alley, pulled like a magnet towards that wonderful scent. It didn't take long before I caught sight of the source. Please don't be a child. Or a cat. I mean, you'll do. The young man, probably in his late teens, let out a gasp when I stalked up to him. He'd been taking a piss behind the dumpster, but quickly zipped himself up and cleared his throat. Hello. Can I help you with something? I'm just on my way home from work. His voice trembled. This was the first time someone had ever been afraid of me. But the only thing I could concentrate on was the smell of his blood. Suddenly the most delicious smell in the world. Yeah. Need me? For what? I took a step towards him slowly. He stayed in place, but I could see his whole body tensing up, getting ready to turn and bolt. Another step, and another, until he was only a foot or two away. Come here, bitch. Nom. Do I have to click it? Yeah. Ah! He cried out but didn't try to struggle. In fact, it sounded like he was hiding his excitement. Oh yeah. I squeezed him in an embrace, managing to fight the agonizing hunger for a few more seconds. You're dreaming, don't worry. With a shuddering breath, he closed his eyes, weakly clutching my shirt. My lips met the side of his neck. Do we have to describe it every time? Fangs extending, I pressed them into his flesh. Hello. And sunk them in. Come on, man. You're basically describing like alleyway sex. I'm not making the noises, sorry. Hot blood flooded onto my tongue, down my throat, sending sparks of life into my dead body. It was pure bliss. Not like food, not even like a buzz. It was a high. A delicious shock that ran through me and lifted me up. The blood pack from last night couldn't even compare. It was like tasting ambrosia after licking dirt off the ground. Stop groaning, it's gross. But it wasn't just the taste that made the moment euphoric. It was the experience. The feeling of holding this mortal, who squirmed with pleasure as I fed from him. The faint whimpers leaking out from beneath my fangs, soft and sweet. The hunger finally sated. Suddenly his body grew limp in my arms, lightly trembling, chest rising and falling unevenly. Woo! Somebody had fun! Don't kill him, though, because that's bad. I pulled back, licking my lips. I'd almost gotten carried away and drunk too much. It was so hard to help myself. The young man was still slumped in my arms, peacefully unconscious. I could still feel his heart beating, and his skin didn't look too pale. He'd wake up before long, or so I hoped. But I couldn't waste any more time. I needed to head towards the garage to catch the meeting on time, so I decided to... we're just gonna leave him. He wasn't my responsibility. You wander down an alley in LA at night, you deserve whatever happens to you. No, you don't, but, you know. I set him down on the ground, propping him up against the wall, and wiped the blood off his neck with my thumb. He'd be fine. Besides, another human would barely be able to notice him in the dark. And if they did, well, that was his problem. Deciding not to loiter any longer, I hurried back to the street. But as I rushed towards the parking garage, saving the last tastes of blood on my tongue, I couldn't stop thinking about what just happened. So this is what it meant to be a vampire. An urban, unholy apex predator. A parasite living off someone else's life. I mean, it ain't any different than being a human. There really was no going back. July Company Parking Garage. Closing October 8th. How many Octobers ago, I wonder? Judging from the litter and grime all around the sign, probably quite a few had passed. Well, didn't matter. This was the place. A bored-looking thug stood by the entrance, obviously stationed as a guard. My first trial, by the looks of it. Putting on a confident expression, I strode up to him, clearing my throat. Is there supposed to be a dude here? Oh, there he is. Place is closed. Go dick around somewhere else. He barked a few short words out at me before I could even open my mouth. If you don't let me into this meeting, you could... Is that right? I don't remember Randal saying anything about waiting for someone. And go fucking ask him. I bet he'll be thrilled you made him wait longer. For a few seconds he stared at me unblinkingly, thick brows knitted together. But finally, he let out a sharp grunt and nodded. Alright. Damn it, why don't they ever keep me in the fucking loop? God, you be a bitch, you go places. I mean... That's not always true. Don't take that as advice. Thank you. The guard stepped aside, and I didn't waste any time hurrying into the garage. Good thing they only had muscle and no brains in front of the entrance. I hurried into the garage, feeling only slightly sorry for the guard. I was living in an even more brutal world than before, and I had a feeling that misplaced mercy would just equal death row. After darting down a few levels of the garage at top speed, I finally arrived. Loud whispers and rowdy laughter made it sound like the meeting hadn't started yet. I was just in time. The two groups standing across from each other were pretty clear-cut, and I could easily tell which house was which. One was full of rough types, probably gangsters and punks in life. Tattoos, leather jackets, piercings, and wild eyes were everywhere. They were Mavar, like me. For some reason, maybe it was my new blood, I wanted to join them, to laugh, joke, and fight with them. But here I was, about to screw them over for S's sake. What a joke. The other group, interestingly enough, looked like the complete opposite. Eccentric outfits, soft murmurs, and a large amount of eerie smiles. Alright, let's cut the bullshit and talk conditions. A deep voice suddenly boomed through the garage, making everyone fall silent. Hello. Hi. Moments later, a tall, muscular vampire pushed his way to the front of the Mavar group. The sheer force of his presence made it instantly clear who he was. I only agreed to this meeting because I hate those Isari bastards more than I hate you. I'm guessing it's mutual. If you want a truce, there'd better be something to sweeten the deal. I don't think these debtors here will settle for anything less. All the rabble. Cheers of approval rang out from the rowdy group behind him. Go Golgotha, Missieri. Oh, we wouldn't dream of it. I like your outfit. The carrot or the stick. That's always the best way to deal with beasts. One of the Golgotha vampires stepped forward, his lips cracking into a Cheshire cat's grin. The hissing. Does that poster say fingered? It says fingered. Gross. Okay, anyway. Snarls and jeering rustled among the Mavar in response. Beasts, huh? Some nice diplomacy you got there. So what are you gonna try to offer? Fortune-telling services? Voodoo magic? We're gonna need something realer than empty promises. The Golgotha vampire let out a smug chuckle like he had a hidden trump card already. I didn't like the sound of that. If I was going to crash or burn this meeting, then I'd have to do something now, before they worked out a deal. Whoa! Hey, watch where you're... Pushing through the crowd of Mavar, I bolted up to Randal as fast as I could. I pulled out his knife and held it in my palms, trying not to tremble. Whoa, what the hell are you doing, kid? He glared at me, shocked and suspicious. And I realized that if I couldn't convince him, that accusing look might just be the last thing I ever see. Boss, I found this on one of their guys. This? Kid, I don't know what you're... What the... Cutting off mid-sentence, Randal glanced down at the knife in my hands. Then his eyes slid back up to mine, meeting my gaze wordlessly for a few moments. You got this from... a Golgotha. He took a deep breath. Almost didn't read it. These They stole from me? Holy hell. Excuse me? Mr. Randal, would you care to explain to me what's going on? The leader of the Golgotha group called over to us, clearly confused. Damn it, I can't deal with this shit right now. Mr. Randal, if you're quite done with this little episode, then we'd like to present our... Get the fuck out of here! All of you bastards, meeting's fucking cancelled. Randal's angry command echoed through the garage, loud enough to make a few vampires wince. I can't yell because I live in an apartment building. And you guys, make sure these motherfuckers scurry back to their rat holes. He addressed his own group with a low growl, which was met with hurried nods and eager knuckle-cracking. I'll meet you outside in a little while. Go on, get going. Alright, you heard the man. Come on, let's go. Within seconds, the garage turned into a chaotic mess of Golgotha vampires fending off rabid Mavar. He pushed and shoved them to the exit. It was easy to tell how much Randal's men were hungry for a fight, but the group of Golgotha stayed placid, like they refused to give Mavar what they wanted. The confusion and shouting went on for a few minutes, but eventually the garage was emptied, leaving behind only Randal and me. Oh, it's a Linda lunch. Linda lunch? Oh, is it a play on what's her name? The deep throat chick? Man, you have some balls. After a long moment of silence, Randal let out a long, tired sigh, finally turning his attention back to me. That was supposed to be a trick, right? You were trying to turn me against the Gauls? Not gonna lie, it was a pretty shitty attempt. Even if they did bring my knife as a bargaining chip, there's no way they'd be that careless with it. Let me guess, Queen Bitch sent you, didn't she? No, you're my. Wow, kid, you're real clever, aren't you? Fucking S. Figures. She must have known I'd see through this, too. It's too obvious. What the hell is she aiming for? You're sorry and their damn mind games. Damn it. Randal growled deep in his throat, fangs bared like a wild animal. But his rage didn't seem focused at me, much to my surprise. He was still holding the knife, too, so I considered myself lucky. Ugh. Finally, he let out a groan, most of the anger on his face fading away. Probably good we didn't bargain with those freaks anyway. They were up to something, just like always. But you... I've never seen your face before, and I've seen just about every vampire in LA. And since you were sent on a suicide mission, it doesn't take a whole lot of detective work to see that you're new. Cannon fodder. Kicked out to die. What's your name, anyway? It's Callie. Callie, huh? You're a Mavar. I can tell. Makes me sad just to look at you, being forced to work for the wrong house, like some dog with a shock collar. A look of genuine pity reflected in his eyes as they flicked over me. You belong with us, kid, not with those sorry pussies. Your blood knows it, and you know it too, don't you? It's just like Queen Bitch taking a newbie and throwing her out to the sharks. There's not a whole lot I can do for you, not with her on high alert. Taking you in right now, well, it'd be too much of a risk. That's just how it is. I gotta look out for me and my house. His shoulders raised in a hapless shrug, one hand scratching at the back of his head. He really did sound apologetic, even though he had no reason to be. This one. What? Ha! If he reacted like that to the mention of an alliance, it probably didn't bode well for S. That's the dumbest thing I've heard all month. And I just read a magazine trying to tell me my dick wasn't big enough. Sure, these guys look up to me, but I'm not their leader. They have no leader. That's kind of the fucking point. Told you that 100 goddamn times, too. Hard concept for a dolled-up fascist to grasp, I guess. He muttered his last words spitefully, grinding a stray piece of gravel underneath his boot. Sure sounded like a leader earlier. Me? I'm just their voice. You know, 50 guys shouting at once, that can get real loud. Now, one guy speaking for the group, that makes negotiations a lot easier. Even if I'd rather negotiate with my knuckles hitting that... Yeah. Even if I'd rather negotiate with my knuckles in that smug fucker's face. He snarled, grinding his fist into his palm, glaring in the direction the Golgotha went off earlier. Christ, I can't believe Queen Bitch thinks I'll work under her. Every Asari is out to either use or kill you for power. That's always how it goes. They say they're all about beauty and peace and words over fighting, but it's all just a fucking scam. Bunch of snakes. And those Golgotha creeps, they're all wrapped up in shit. I don't know, conspiracy theories or weird prophecies. Except for Marcus, anyway. Marcus is the best guy I know around here. Yeah, I can't understand a thing he says. It's great. Marcus is amazing. Weird sunglasses is all. I think that one. I don't think most people can. It's hard to pick out the wisdom from the poetic bullshit. Marcus, man, I used to hate his guts. Since he was always playing nice with the Queen Bitch. Not to mention that slow, preachy way he talks. But then, when I shut up and actually listened to what he said, I realized he's got it all figured out. The politics, the mind games, everything. Randal paused, shaking his head in bemused awe. He didn't seem like the type of guy who'd respect just anyone, so the fact that he thought so highly of Marcus must have really meant something. That guy could be the king of Los Angeles if he wanted to. Hell, probably the whole world. But instead he just hangs out in his porn store and sells giant rubber dicks. Really makes you think, doesn't it? He clutched his stomach, doubling over, as if he had just cracked the best joke of the century. So we have fastest Dandy's crazy prophets in us. Yeah, you've got Mayvar written all over you, kid. That hot blood you got running in your veins, now that's something you and I have in common. Not a whole lot to say about us, really. Mayvar don't complicate shit. We have rules, and we hate rulers even more. Vampires should be able to do whatever the hell they want. No killing innocent humans, no revealing your nature in public. Aside from that, we like to live our unlives as we damn well please. Usually on the wilder side. Got a problem with another vampire? Fight it out. No backstabbing, no politics, just blood. We're beasts, after all. Mayvar don't hide from that. We embrace it. Hell yeah, sounds like my kind of party. You'd fit right in, I bet. The only thing we have in this damned existence is each other. We try not to forget that, and you shouldn't either. Randal let out a sigh, then, eyeing me regretfully. I'd like to take you with me, but as I said, it's too much of a risk. While you're still on Queen Bitch's leash, everyone's gonna have it in for you, even the Asari. Once you're free, though, maybe you can run with me and my guys. As sure as I won't be bossing you around. Sign me up. Man, I miss when I still had the energy to get real excited about shit. Aw, do I have to go away from you? I like you. With a wry smile, Randal reached out to clamp a large hand on my shoulder, squeezing it roughly. Alright, kid, it's been fun, but I need to go make sure the others aren't running down goals in the street or anything too crazy. I'm usually at the beach with my crew, so if you ever decide to hop on the winning team... He trailed off and clicked his tongue playfully, looking at me. Yeah. Nah, no need to thank me. We were all newbies once. I do my best to remember that. I don't want you to go. Like, he's the only one that's, like, worth talking to. Because the other guy, what was his name? Heath? He's way too submissive, way too... Meh. Marcus is okay, but Marcus is Marcus, and he's kind of weird, but, I mean, he's still not the worst thing, so let's go. Oh, whoops, and with that we parted ways. I didn't read that. I left the parking garage with a slightly clearer picture of the world I'd been tossed into, thanks to Randal. Luckily, the guard at the entrance was gone, so I avoided any awkward encounters. Maybe he wouldn't hold any hard feelings. That whole mess had worked out somehow, although I had to wonder how much was just beginner's luck, since most of it seemed too convenient to be true. I arrived at the hotel with an overwhelming sense of relief, making my way back to the meeting room from last night. As it turned out, S and Heath were already waiting for me. Welcome back, Callie. We heard about the little mess you caused at the parking garage. Word travels fast. Heath's airy voice rang with pride, and he offered me a sly smile. Keep it. Yes, you've done quite an impressive job. Your performance certainly surpassed my expectations. Unsurprisingly, S didn't match Heath's smile, but she did offer me a sharp nod. That one. Before we go any further, let me clear the air. I knew Randal would see through the knife deception. However, you accomplished your twofold task, perhaps without realizing it. You disrupted their truce discussions, at least for now, and you also made yourself known by name to Randal, who is a significantly powerful vampire. From the smug lilt in her tone, I could tell S was pretty pleased with the outcome of the events. Did that mean my instincts were right? None of what had happened back there was an accident? As I mentioned earlier, your naivete is assumed by everyone you meet. Even secretive, insular vampires will open up to you, merely because they want to win you to their cause. You should use this to your advantage while you still can. Integrate yourself with those who believe you have no allegiances. Yeah, that. No, I expect your loyalty, and not unfairly. Do not forget my clemency in sparing your life. A less charitable leader would have destroyed all evidence of her mistake right then and there. Fortunately for you, I believe there's much more potential in your future beyond being an eraser smudge on this page in Ellie's history. She sniffed pointedly, nudging her glasses back up her nose. That matter aside, I have another task for you. It entails less conflict, but is of equal importance. What do you want? One of my contacts in South LA recently disappeared, and I need to know why. But I can't spare any of my other associates to go find her. Things are very busy, you see. I expect this disappearance is sabotaged by an irksome rival of mine, but I'd like to confirm the situation. Go to the area, track her down, and report back. Not too complicated, is it? Fine. Well, beyond ensuring your immortality for another day, I suppose an additional reward might be in order. A contemptuous sigh left her lips, as if my question had inconvenienced her terribly. Don't leave me alone with this guy. Very well. One final thing, Callie, before you go. What? I suggest you partner yourself with, or at least try to learn from, an older vampire. For example, Heath here is charming, diplomatic, and also very in tune to his humanity. A little overly idealistic, perhaps, but we like to strive for perfection. When S mentioned his name, Heath perked up, his eyes sparkling mischievously. I'll pass. Are you trying to woo me, Miss Locke? You are pathetic. Nothing of the sort, I assure you. She mercilessly replied to Heath without missing a beat. Moving along. Marcus, too, possesses remarkable insight and knowledge, but as a Golgotha, he is also particularly eccentric, and his loyalties are unpredictable. Take everything he says with a grain of salt. And this may come as a surprise. If you decide to seek Randal out as a mentor, I won't stop you. I acknowledge his strength as well as his charisma and experience. However, do not let yourself be swayed by his anarchistic beliefs. The current war is proof of what happens when vampires eschew leadership. Chaos, paranoia, and bloodshed. Count me in. I wouldn't treat it so lightly if I were you, which I'm glad I'm not. You're fucking mean. I really don't like you. Heath and I will be staying here to discuss affairs, but I'll expect your report in the next few days, Callie. She lifted an elegant hand, pointedly gesturing towards the door. I'm out of here. Bye. I don't want to talk to you. Heath looked disappointed, flashing me an apologetic grimace when S wasn't looking, but he seemed stuck there for the moment. We're good. I don't care. I took the hint and left, heading towards the elevator. A part of me wondered what affairs they were talking about, but eavesdropping probably wasn't worth the risk. Can I go hang out with Randal? My room welcomed me back with all its pristine, glamorous, depressing shine. But as relieved and happy as I was to complete my trial, I felt incredibly restless and isolated. Lifting the curtains with one hand, I gazed out the window, absorbing the vibrant cityscape below me. Yesterday, it had all felt like a dream. Today, reality was finally setting in. I was a vampire, chained to eternity. Trapped behind glass, separated from the Hollywood life I had dreamed of. So close and forever unreachable. Like the cityscape, that dream would always glitter in the distance, a reminder of what I'd lost. It was dead, just as much as I was. Maybe I really did need a mentor to help me through this. Rules, etiquette, and powers? I could figure those out by myself, given enough time. But that wasn't what I needed most. I needed a new purpose, now that my old one was shattered. The three men S mentioned seemed to know what they were doing, if nothing else. There was a good chance that one of them would help me figure out my place in this world. With that, I made up my mind. Tomorrow, I'd go and see... Fuck yeah, we're gonna go see Randal. Randal was easily the most likable vampire I had met. Not true, I like Marcus. He gets on my nerves. But Randal and Marcus are the top two. But we're going with Randal. Blunt and opinionated, maybe. But at least he didn't boss me around or make any creepy comments. Besides, he was Mavar too. Maybe he could teach me how to use my new strength to its full potential. With any luck, Randal wouldn't mind helping me out, despite the rocky start we got off to. Then it was settled. Tomorrow, I take a break from running S's errands and go find Randal instead. That thought was only a small comfort in the hell I'd been thrown into, but I clung on to it as hard as I could. A little excitement sparked through me as I shut the curtains, curling onto my bed to hide from the coming daylight. If this was what fate had in store for me, then so be it. I would fight and struggle to stay afloat in this world that I'd been thrown into, and no matter what, I wouldn't give up. Even if it meant I would never see another sunrise again. Oh, well, okay. That is Red Embrace Hollywood, the demo. That was fantastic. I actually can't wait now. Yeah, that was great. I'm not used to, visual novels. I think that's what that type of gameplay is. So talking so much is not hard, but I don't usually read things. But anyway, I really, really like this. I'm actually going to look into see what this stuff is. Can I go? Oh, you can't click this. Start, load, preferences. Okay. I'm digging this. So like I mentioned before, there's a Kickstarter. I believe it's still going on. I will link everything down in the description. And I honestly cannot wait for the full game because I will be playing this. I will definitely be playing this because we're going after Randal. And that's that. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. If I should play more stuff like this. Any suggestions you have, go ahead and leave them down below. And go ahead, leave a like and subscribe if you're not already. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.